Hello everybody. In this video, we're going to finish our Linktree clone. So far, we did some layout. We did the background. We put our avatar, name, slogan. We have some link cards that we need to update to actually have the elements that we need. And we need to finish the About Me sections in our website. So let's keep going. For that, the first thing that I need to do, and this is only for myself, I think you already did it, guys, is when I deploy it to Cloudflare, I didn't commit my changes for the deployment, like added the Cloudflare part, my configuration JSON that came automatically when I change my preview and add my deploy command and my dependencies for Wrangler, all that information. So I will just add those. Add it, Wrangler deployment. Deployment. There you go. And I will sync those just to have those ready out there. And now I can continue working with my application. Okay, this one is actually pretty neat. You see once in a while, it says like you want to run with git fetch. That means if you do some changes in your repository on GitHub in a different computer, this will pretty much like not synchronize, but it will pull the latest changes once in a while. So it's almost always a good idea to have it enabled. So I would put yes in this case, just to have those. But other than that, I think we can continue. So far what we did, we created a reference for a profile, and we are rendering that in the profile side. And then we have the link card. Right now we do a dummy before for 3 elements, and we specify that element as the key, and the link card has static value where we have a icon container. It's an SVG that we found, and we have some text content that right now is dummy data. And the hover effect, this is just something that is on top of everything that give you that greenish, in my case, that greenish look like hover effect. So, and we also have the info page, which is pretty much empty at the moment, and just give you the back to links section. And that's the one that I would like to finish at the moment. Let's continue working with that particular page. So usually what happened, or the way you're supposed to get that information um, from a specific, how can I say it? Database or backend server, and we will talk about those later. And you can utilize those the way that you did it. But in this case, let's hard code it a little bit. And in a future class, we'll see how to pull data from a specific place. So in this, I will create my script setup where we're going to run all JavaScript related, and we need to import again or reference from Vue. Now that we have those, I want to create cons bio. It will be a reference object. And that reference will have a couple of elements here. We have my name. Let's actually put it right now. We have the avatar that we already have it somewhere. So I will reuse that one. About, that will talk about information about me. I would like to everybody have some kind of different bio that you can put in your about page. Skills. Let's make this an array. I want to talk about what type of skills you have, and it will show it. Let's put the email. And let's put the location. So let's just in my case, let me just put my location. I'm located in McAllen, Texas. And let's put my email. I will put my STC email. You could put whatever image you want to put there. On skills, I will say probably let's have um, type some of them like Vue.js, the one that we'll be doing right now. I know how to use React. I love TypeScript. Node.js, I will look at the class too later. Let's add probably Tailwind, something like that, right? Um, just to keep it simple. In the avatar section, in this case, I will copy my avatar from my homepage, put it there, and on my about, just talk about a little bit of me. Let's say something like, mm, we can do something like, I'm a passionate full stack developer with experience building modern web applications. That could be something, for example. And now, because I'm actually using tick over here, I need to change this to be backlit. So we actually detected that as a text. And I'm able to put the single quote inside in my texter. So I think something like that. Probably too short, but we need to be a little longer. I will keep it as it is. No, you know what? Let me add something. I have some text. Let me just put something there. Let's put something like this. Um, I specialize in Vue.js, React, and Node.js, and I love creating beautiful, user-friendly interfaces that make a difference. I also a passionate adjunct teacher at STC. Something like. Okay. So what I want to do here is I want in this actually running here. I want to have some kind of card that will have that type of information. Let's see how we can actually put that together. And to be sincere, let me just change the order, probably this here, so we can move back and forward better from text, from the source code to the actual website. So we have the template here. We have our main area is a reflex, minimum height of screen, it's a column, everything centers, with a padding X of 4, padding Y of 8, and the small devices is an up. It has a padding Y of 12, a bigger padding. And we have the router link that we have a margin tab of 8, text small, gray. We have a transition colors and duration cover effects. So we should have like that little thingy over there. Perfect. That do for the router link itself and send us back to links. So after this, I will say that mm, we can have probably we can have some probably this link. Let's do self start. So instead of being center, the link will be yes, something like this probably will be a little bit better. It probably it makes more sense. And then we can have our profile card. That will be the next element. Let's do a div element. Let's do will be full width. but also will limitate the um, max width of, let's be LG. LG is a specific size, 512 pixels. So we're limiting those. And let's do rounded to Excel. Border with a border. Gray, probably 700. I'm using dark mode here. Okay, you can start seeing that. There, it doesn't have a content. That's why it's like one line. Let's do a background color. Let's do gray also a little bit stronger. So we did the border 17. Let's do the background 80, 800. Let's put some padding. So the content inside have space. And we can start seeing now what it looks like. Cool. Um, rounded is actually round. Had a typo there. There you go. Okay, start looking a little bit better. With the padding, let's add the shadow that we're using. Excel, and let's make the shadow a specific color. To gray, a little darker. But let's add um, alpha color there. And the padding, let's make it smaller for small devices and up. Let's do padding of 8. Okay, cool. I think start look a little bit what I needed. So now that I have my main class here, let's start adding the content inside. So the first thing that I want to have is my header. And up the header, I will be using mm, some elements that will be having inner view element itself. So let's do a container. We can do a section probably, but uh, let's keep doing a div here. So this will be the whole header size, and I want to have a margin bottom of 6. That will be the space of the content, and here will be flex, flex column, item center, text center. Let's make everything center. When it's on small devices, but bigger devices, I actually want this to be flex row. And I will show you that how it looks like. And the text will be text left. And let's create some simple text. Hello. So we have the text on the left, right? But this will do inspect. I change the sizing. You see that the padding change and the text go in the middle. That's what I want it to be, because in the smaller devices, I want this to be like a stacked. But in bigger devices, we can put elements left and right for the header section. So something that I'm looking right now, my links probably is too near this element. We need to separate those. So let's go back to my link here. We have a margin top of 8. Let's actually, instead of top, let's do margin Y. So it's going to be top and down. Let's see. And now it looks better. Cool. Nice. Let's continue working it. Let's remove the hello there. And let's add an image here. And let's do the image. And the image should be our bio dot avatar. And let's change. And the alter will be the bio dot name. Now, if I put it like that, it doesn't work. We have an error. Like, well, yes, what is bio avatar? Like, it doesn't know that even that we have the bio element, avatar element here. It doesn't know that because we are creating the image with static values here. Because we're using variables now, we need to maintain this that is bounded. And we need to put in view that those values are actually bounded. So if I do something like this, uh, this should be working. Looks like they didn't like it. Let's run it again. Okay, yes, it's there. Mm, something is happening. Let me review that section. What is happening here? So the page was not found, but it's supposed to be running. About me. Oh, there you go. I don't know what happened there. But now you see that now my image is there, right? Now that my image is there, I should be able to continue working on this element. It was weird that didn't work at the beginning. So let's change some elements of the image. So let's add a class, and it will be high full to use the full container, wide full, and will be an object cover that will have the object fit cover in the CSS part. We'll not see that much changes yet, but now we can see that it's working a little bit better. Cool. Let's make a container for this image. Probably that will be the best. That will contain the image itself. So let's wrap my image in another div, and I will send the close div after the image. There you go. And I can do something like, mm, let's do height 20, wide 20. So now we can constrain the sizing, and we know that, perfect. And we know that the image will take full sizing of his parent object in this particular case. So let's do shrink 0, like never make it smaller than what it is. Overclose hiding, so it doesn't have the scroll. And let's make actually rounded full. That will make it like an avatar. Nice. And you can see that the smaller devices go to the center, but the bigger devices go to the left. Let's add a border. Little big border, and let's do border green 400. Yeah, nice. And then bigger devices from the small and up. Let's do margin bottom 0. Let's do the small devices, the margin right of, oops, look like I don't know how to type, margin right of 6. And let's do a general margin bottom of 4 on the smaller devices. So what I'm doing here is that there's no margin at the bottom on bigger screen, but a smaller screen we will do something under there. So let's test that out. After the div, let's do a simple paragraph, test text. Okay, yeah, it's on the right. And here you have that little spacing that I needed to be. Cool. I think that have that. So let's do another container here, and it will contain a couple of elements. We have my H1, where we put our bio name. Remember, when the content is text content of the element is in double curly bracket, when it's part of a property, it should be bounded. It's a different way. In this case, let's do H1, let's do a paragraph, and let's do the bio dot about. Yeah. And the smaller the byte, it just look like this. Perfect. Let's make now, this looks a little bit better. Let's do class, let's do font, display. And let's do a margin bottom of 1 with a text of to Excel. And let's make it bold, a little bit bold. And let's make it white. Cool. We can probably do rate 200. Uh, that could work too. Let's keep it as white. And let's do something with the paragraph too. Let's do a simple class. You know what? Let's actually, the about is more like the X. Let's do the location. There you go. And let's make this simple text small. And let's this one make it gray. 400 probably. Yep, I like it. I think the only things that we can add is before the biolocation, we can have some kind of location. I have this here. I think that looks actually cool. I think it's understandable. I think it looks a little bit better for that. And that should be enough for my header. Now let's do the about section. Um, this, let's do another div. And here it will be probably the paragraph about the bio dot about. We can add maybe a title, H2, let's do about. What that looks like. Yeah, I like it. Like have like the title. What is this talking about? Yeah, and let's just make it a little bit better. So let's do the class. What I'm thinking here is there should be a separation. So let's do a margin bottom of 3. So we add the space on the lower part. Cool. Let's make the text bigger. Just a little bit. Let's go to Excel. Um, Probably it's too much. Let's do LG. Let's do font semi-bold with a text white. Okay. And we can add on our bio about. Let's add there's a specific called leading relax. Is have a language Just make it easy to read. It's already look at better, and we can make it just gray, probably. Let's do 400. Uh, no, I don't like to be the same as the location, so probably 300. Make it look a little more wider. There you go. So the title looks a little bit bigger and brighter because it's actually white, and the text is just a little muted, so you can see the hierarchy of the information. I start liking it. Let's add the skill section now. Let's do this one over here. Okay. Let's do skill section, skills, and let's play around with the container, and let's play around a little bit with. mm, Let's repeat the title probably. And now that we're repeating, we should have some kind of title object, but let's keep it as it is. Let's do skills. Cool. Oh, let's separate those. Let me go to the previous section. Class. Let's do a margin bottom of. We're doing a margin bottom of 6 pretty much right here. So let's keep that. So we have the separation. Okay. And now that we have our title of the skills, we can do. I would like to have like a little pills probably for every skill that show it. So we can do something like. Let's do something like a span. And let's do a before. So B for skill in skills. And we need to bound the key to be the actual skill itself. Mm. In bio skills, actually. Bio skills. Very well. We have all the skills there. Let's make it to look a little bit better. Let's do a class. And let's do a background. Let's do what color should be good? Let's do green. Like a really dark green with okay, that will make it all that. Cool. Let's add some padding. So let's do padding X of 3 and padding Y of 1. That will be left and right a little bit bigger than up and right, up and down. Cool. And we can add probably text small. Yeah. And let's do text green. Maybe 300. Yeah, I think I like it like the green background with the green text. Now let this actually look like a pills. So this actually should be rounded. Eh, let's do rounded full. Okay. To look like a little pills when you have all the skills. I like it. We can add probably some spacing. And to add the spacing, let's actually put this in a container. Let's put the container with the span inside the container. Let's make the skill one line. Let's put this one over here so it looks easy to read. Cool. So now the container for my skills Let's do a simple class of flex, and let's do flex wrap, and let's have a gap of 2. I'm doing flex wrap is because if the line is just too big, you just jump into the next line, pretty much. Oh, we make it smaller. You can see that it's just jumping to the next line, and keep it the way it is. Well, I'm sure start liking it. What else we can add here? Probably can add contact section. Yes, I think what we're missing. So we're using the name, avatar, about, skills, location. Let's use the email for the contact. So let me see my skill section finish here. I will jump. I will do contact. And before continue, my skill section need to have another margin bottom of 6. Probably I can grab all of them like kind of gap. That should be good too. And here we have our contact info. Here, let's just put a title and let's keep it with the same skills and get in touch. Right? Um, and let's do a simple anchor branch. So this will be a traditional link. This is not a router link because I want this to be a mail to. So you do mail to, you can send this to somebody else. But because we actually using a variable, we need to bound the href. And let's keep this as a backlit. And let's do, I think I need to have this double. There you go. Yeah, the mail to. And now I can do, this is from JavaScript. I will say, get my bio.email. Something like that. And we'll say in the content, then email. So when you click that, it's trying to open my, I think you see that it's actually trying to send, I shouldn't be showing that, but it's trying to send it to my email directly. So that's what the mail to does for us. This actually looks a little bit better to have. Let's do also hero icons. And I think we did it from depth. Let's do email. We can use icons probably, but let's try to use this. Okay, we have the path. Nice. Let's actually take it all and let's put in the content. So before my text of send email, let's put the SVG and then we'll make some changes. Yeah, definitely we need to make some changes. So let's do here. And I will probably have some kind of animation too. So let's do data slot. Let's remove that part. Stroke current color, view box. So 2424. And well, let's keep the things as it is. Let's just add the class. We have h5 with 5. Okay, better. And let's do transition, transform. We will change the with a duration. Probably let's do 200 milliseconds. And I want to rotate it a little bit. Yeah, let's rotate. So let's do for a group, hover, rotate 12, probably, no, 12 degrees. That means that our parent object is the anchor tag itself. Let's have a class. Let's do a group. Okay. Let me remove from this view. And you can see that it's get to the right a little bit. Let's make the link to be inline flex with item center with a simple gap of probably 2. Okay. Yeah, I like it. Let's do rounded Excel and let's do a background green 500 probably. Let's add, I don't see the background actually because I'm missing the end. There you go. Okay, yeah, like a button. Cool. Let's add the padding up and down. Let's add padding X of 6 and padding Y, get this up and down, of 3. Cool. Now look like a button. Let's do font medium and let's do text white. There you go. And after the text white, let's do shadow large. And let's do shadow probably green. Let's do a green 500. Well, let's add the opacity and let's do transitional with a duration of 200. And let's make this bigger. So when we do hover and do scale, yes, just a little bit. So they get the button bigger, nice, and the little envelope tilt to the right. I like it. Let's make change. We have the background as 500. Let's make the background change also with the hover. So let's do hover, background, green, a little darker, 600. And let's make the shadow on hover bigger. So we have shadow large. And let's do extra large. So it gets a little bigger. And let's make the shadow color. We have the shadow green 500. Let's keep it 500, but let's add opacity. Let's do shadow Excel and hover. Let's do shadow green 500, but instead of 30, let's add 40 as opacity. So yeah, you can see it like that. Looks like the colors get down a little bit. I'm actually like a little bit. I think it's really understandable right away whenever you hover over the element. I don't know if you can see that on the video, um, on the capture, but it's really smooth animation. So I'm probably something. Let's change the when it's active. Let's do a smaller scale, 95. What that means is when you click it, it goes down. I don't know. Let me hover over and let me click it. You you feel you don't feel it, but you see it right away. You get click. So I think that's actually good. Oops, that should be fine with that part. What else we can do in our element? I think that's it. So here we're just playing around with some design elements, and we have the data in a view reference. Whenever we continue adding different properties, when you need to bound it in the property, you need to put the semicolon there. But when you reference what is the text content of the element, it should be in double curly bracket. The same happen with the reference tag for the link for the mail. So here we're using traditional JavaScript. For text formatter, we can inject a variable until it will be created as a text. And we can see how we can actually be able to use it. So I will stop the video here and let's work in the next video on the link card itself. So let me just comment this out. I will add um, added info page layout and data, something like that. Let me save it. Let me sync it. So it is already there. And you can see that, yeah, this start look a little bit better. Go to inspect it and make this smaller. You see the header just change to where it's supposed to be, and everything is where it's supposed. Nice. If we try to click it, you will see that the hover over is not in devices, but you can see the smaller um, button when you press it. Okay. So the only thing I should be doing here, and probably we need to do in the next video. But I want to do like, okay, now in my deploy one, we don't have automation. We have not been working automation to publish it whenever we push it to GitHub. And probably we'll do that in a future video. For now, if you want to make this work, after we already save it and we push it to GitHub, what we can do here is do a simple npm run deploy. And it will build again, it will configure, and it will push it. As simple as that. When it's done, you will see the links right there. So if I refresh my website, that is already there. It probably takes a little bit to see it. Let me go to the about me. There you go. Now it's working the way it's supposed to. Interesting. If I reload, it doesn't work. I need to actually go to the website. And we'll review that part later. But for now, this is how it is. Yeah. You just go to about me, and now the page is being updated in the Cloudflare section. So I really hope that you like it. Uh, any question? Any doubt? Don't hesitate to reach me. Happy coding, everybody.